But I'm already looking at Windows 98.
Perfect.
Log off, lack the knack.
You'll never know my real identity.
I already know it.
Shush.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Windows 98 again. I'm Dave Lucia, and I'm here with Crackerjack.
And we are here to present to you Riven.
Well, that is quite the explosive introduction already.
Red Orb Entertainment has brought this to you.
Wait,
Division of Broderbund.
I thought Myst was made by Cyan.
Oh, it is. But their publisher was Broderbund for the first game, and Broderbund Subdivision Red Orbit for the second game.
Okay, alright, so this is the second game in the... Oh, there's Cyan. Okay. So This is the second game in the Myst franchise, right?
This is the second game. It was called Riven, the sequel to Myst.
Subtlety, still not one of their strong points.
So this game takes place about 3 days after the end of the first one.
Which we saw in the... Well, quote-unquote, saw in the extra video in Myst, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, look, it's the library thing.
A green book.
I need your help.
Well, no, I mean, like, the location we found him at.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of history that you should know.
He hasn't stopped writing for about
I'm afraid that
11 days.
I must continue my writing.
Well, he has to continue his writing, obviously.
You'll find out why.
Most of what you need to know is in there.
Uh-oh.
Keep it well hidden.
Is this gonna have a lot of reading?
There'll be 3 books in this game, but they are big books. 4 books. 4 books in this game.
That one that he just pulled out?
I can't send you to Riven with a way out,
No.
but I can give you this.
This is not a readable book. This is... Remember the red and blue
It used
books?
to be a linking book.
Sure, yeah.
I can't have done
With the Akinar and what's-his-face.
it. Actually, lock me up in prison.
There you go.
You'll need it, I'm afraid.
Are we gonna be imprisoning somebody?
Yes.
Oh.
He said to capture Gan.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Found Catherine. Signal me, and I'll come with a linking book.
And Catherine is his wife, right?
Yes. So he just gave us a journal to explain everything, a book that is a trap, and told us to trap Gan and find his wife and signal him somehow. That is our goals.
Who is Gan?
I'll tell you in a
There's
second.
also a chance, if this all goes well, that I might be able to get you back to the place that you came from.
Why are these books so absurdly thick?
Because there's a lot of description, especially since he's been writing nonstop.
But
This
I'm-
world is so degenerated that we can't even see it through the panel. Like, it's all gibberish because it's so bad.
Right.
So that's why he can't stop writing, because it's about to blow at any second.
So he sends us in there?
He didn't realize there was a cage trap at the start.
Pff,
Like, he
But it
honestly
was-
didn't realize.
But it was falling apart.
He didn't know that they installed a cage trap, though. Because
So our
he, can't
first-
see, he can't see in.
So our first puzzle is...
A cutscene in which this guy
Oh.
doesn't notice that we're in here.
Like, oh!
His name's Chill, by the way.
Is this live action?
This is live action.
Is the background live action?
No.
I will say I think it's to the game's credit that I can't tell where the live action ends. Are we not supposed to know what he's saying?
No, of course not. He stole our book!
Oh. Hey, give that back.
If he uses it, he'll be trapped in, then he'll be really ticked if he gets out again. But, happily,
Uh,
he just got shot in the neck. This is actually a really good thing.
So someone knew that we were coming, or
Well, no. Someone came up behind the guy and shot him in the neck with a tranq.
and starts dragging him off screen. Exit
Exactly.
stage left.
That is stage left.
Okay. So is our first puzzle trying to get out of this cage, or are we going to be released?
We are going to be released.
Oh.
Because the person who shot him in the neck.
I don't trust you.
Don't worry, he doesn't trust you either.
You look shiftier than the guy that you tranquilized.
He just broke the device so the next person to come in won't get trapped. So that's nice, I guess.
Okay.
And
But he took our book.
He took the book.
Hey, give that back. We needed that. Oh.
Okay, so I'm not expecting you to read it, but if the if the watcher would like to read it, just pause because I'm gonna do my 2-second per page thing.
And it's going to be just as long as the books in the last game, or
Yeah.
isn't it?
So what he's trying to do is he's explaining like Riven, this book is beginning to fall apart. So he's like trying to keep it stable, but his wife is there being held hostage by his father. Long story short, he and his father are on very bad terms. And he left him trapped on this age as punishment for his crimes against like all these civilizations because he thinks the way the linking books work, ignore this, it doesn't matter. The way the linking books work is they make a link to a world that exists, right?
Uh-huh.
Gen, the father, thinks he makes the worlds and thus is God. I'm sure you can see a problem with this.
Thinks he makes them?
He thinks
So
he makes the worlds
He
of
doesn't
linking to ones that
actually?
exist. No, you just link to ones that already exist in the universe somewhere.
Yeah. Alright, so how did Catherine get trapped in the same place?
So Catherine is one of the natives of this place, which used to be one island, by the way. Why it's called Riven is because it's been ripped apart.
Oh.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi.
I know I'm dumping a lot of info, but don't worry, this will make sense. So Catherine came back to save the villagers because the island is going to collapse, which is Gen's problem. Everything he writes is flawed and begins to fall apart.
Right.
So she came back and got caught. Atris can't follow because he's been working the last 17 days to stop this age from collapsing because it's about to.
Okay.
We've arrived, so we're the fourth agent that can actually do something.
Okay.
Now, this next thing, remember at the beginning of the first game, it started with the guy falling into the chasm in the sky?
Yeah.
Gen says he threw Atris into it, as shown here.
Oh.
That's Atris with the book falling into the Doom cavern. In truth, Atris, as we find out in the supplementary book, the Book of Atris, Atris jumped in and linked into Myst with the book before the book plummeted into the stars, right?
Right.
They sealed the thing back up here and left, like, no one else jumped into the fissure, which is sad because if they did, they would have plummeted through the stars with the book into New Mexico. That's why I said in the first game we found the book in New Mexico.
Okay, the game... The canon of this has officially lost me.
Okay, so the canon is the star fissure.
No, I mean, I get that, but it just
Okay.
doesn't... I'm having a hard time rationalizing it all in my head as being something that can logically happen.
Okay. Anyways, Gen has then, like, he made all this as like, I'm God.
Right.
In reality, he's trying furiously to figure out how to write a book with the papers available to him and inks available to him.
This is like a church that he built for himself or something?
Yes. Yeah, this is a temple. So that's what all those pictures were, was his version of the events.
Yeah. So, real quick, this game was still made in the 90s, right?
This is 96.
96.
Or 97. I think it's 96, though.
Either way, just want to point out that even more so than the original Myst, I am very impressed by the the aesthetic and the graphical fidelity on display here.
Absolutely. Myst is revolutionary for that.
This looks very good, considering both how old it is and the tiny little window that I'm watching it in.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the best they could do with 640 by 480.
I mean, it's pretty impressive. Like, you compare it to Star Wars Dark Forces 2, and the differences are immediately apparent.
Yeah. So this temple rotates.
Yes. So I've noticed.
I don't know
purpose
why.
of rotating
It's like a complex locking system. Is it going to
Are
turn
we-
one more time?
Are we turning it so that we can get somewhere new?
Yes. One other thing I got to mention from the journal we read at the start. He said signal him, right?
Yeah.
You can only make a signal by making a humongous sudden change to the environment. So we're gonna have to figure out how to do that throughout the game.
Okay.
But by the way, I love this. Down here is a gate. It's locked. How can we possibly get past this insurmountable obstacle?
Crowbar on padlock.
Crawl under.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to solve the puzzle.
I like how refreshing it is.
Yeah, in most adventure games, you would have to find another item to whack that padlock with. Or burn the door off, or find like a teleporter, or dig a hole in the earth that lets you come tumbling through the top of it, or something.
Is that thing, that lever we pulled? Do you remember, like, the thing I said didn't matter? The great big cone thing at the bottom. We just powered it. This
So
will
now it
not
matters?
matter until the very end of the game.
Oh. Why are we staring at the wall while this is all turning?
Because that if you can't move until the things have turned.
Surely it would be more interesting to be able to see it turn after you hit the button, though.
We're almost done with the turning room.
Okay, so why are we turning the rooms?
We are turning the rooms because when we first entered the room, there was that one locked gate, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I just opened it by pulling that lever.
Okay.
So
Now
now,
we
I
have to
just
get
gotta
to it?
return it all to normal so I can go through it.
Okay. Do we have an actual goal in sight, or is it like the first game where we're just kind of wandering around until we find something we have to do?
Well, our overarching goals are to find Gen, trap Gen. To that end, we need to find our book.
Uh-huh.
And we also need to find Catherine, escort her to this area, and then signal Atris.
So we're stumbling around until we find the people.
We are
Basically.
looking for the book, for Gen, and for Catherine. That's who we're looking for.
Right.
And so, you say stumbling around, but really, it makes sense that, maybe Catherine or Gen might be behind, hidden behind all these locks.
What's behind door number 1?
Exactly. Let's go look behind door number 1, since I know how to solve it. It's also the longest puzzle, which means we had a lot of time to discuss the canon up to this point.
Well, with that all out of the way, let's go on to Bridge. Hello, Bridge.
That button.
That button just got right in your face.
So, you can see...
Look at that scenery.
Yeah.
And look
There's
at that rock.
There is a walkway over there.
So do we have to get to said walkway?
It'll take a while.
Oh.
This lever does nothing.
Nothing?
Okay.
That's a useful lever. Leather lever.
Maybe it's just it doesn't have power.
Oh. Hi, Tetris.
Those Tetris blocks are the islands. We're on the island that's like a 4 square with the one hanging off the side. That's the island we're on right now.
Okay.
There are 5 islands in this game.
Are we going to be visiting all of them?
Absolutely.
No wasted real estate. Yeah.
All of them are like immediately accessible too, except for the 1 square island.
Why is that staircase going to nowhere?
Because it's... Well, we powered it, so maybe we'll be able to make it not a staircase anymore. Notice that dome up there that I just passed by?
Uh-huh.
Those will be really needed later.
Uh-oh. For what?
To access multiple other places.
Oh. Are we going to be...
The one thing about Riven that, I don't know, it makes it more cohesive but also a little bit less misty is that most of the game takes place in one world.
Right.
But don't worry, there will be other ones as well, and they will look really freaking cool.
But... Is that a
And
good thing or a bad thing?
I bring that up because the dome leads us to one of them.
Oh, so it is a teleporter.
Well, it contains a teleporter, yes. That's the thing about Myst. It's just full of teleportation. Especially freaking Myst Online.
Like us moving along this walkway.
And this is with transitions on, by the way. If you turn transitions off, then like turning doesn't have that turning animation.
Oh, it just kind of shocks
Jumps.
you into the...
So yeah,
But-
that's what this lever does.
But wasn't that already down when...
We put it up and then didn't do anything and I left it alone. Then when we powered it, everything went up.
I'm confused. Is that not the...
It like locks us in there if we like put it up, so clearly we can't do that yet.
So that's just a puzzle that we have to come back to later?
Yes. There was a lot of those in Riven.
Oh, of course.
Let's ignore that door and instead just go take a look in here first.
But what if I was interested in what the door
We'll go
had?
see it. Don't worry. First, you're going to go see the temple proper.
Oh. Bask in the glow of the flower.
Yeah, this is the temple that the villagers actually can access.
Uh-huh. They're villagers?
Well, remember how I said Catherine was one of the indigenous people?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's more of them. We've
We're on
seen
kind
2
of
of
a-
them already.
Well, we're on kind of a small island to have a village, aren't we?
Well, did you notice how one of the islands is much bigger than the others?
Is that where everyone lives?
Yes. As well as that, this one temple, it's the only place they're allowed to be. Gen is not a good god.
No, I'm getting that impression.
So here's this chair.
Why are we sitting on a donut chair?
You don't realize this yet, but what this is now we are inside that big dome, like that big cage, circled cage in the temple now. Like our hologram is right now. That's what that sound is.
Oh. Okay, so what are we doing in here?
Well, that's just for lore building. But you can see on this blue camera that there is an outside with a platform.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't make sense now, but what it means is that he can see people coming. And then he can use this switch beside this temple camera to open the door and let people in.
Huh.
Don't worry, this will be used in a pretty darn awesome jump scare later on.
So immediately I'm getting the same impression that I get of a lot of old adventure games, which is that we are mostly aimless at the moment.
Well, no, we're trying to get to the rest of the islands.
Yeah, okay, but we're we're just messing around with things for the sake of messing around with them and seeing what happens.
Yes, that is true.
And like there's no sort of actual direction for the player. You're just kind of expected to click on everything.
It's not unfair, though.
No,
Hi,
but
Maglev Car.
it's not unfair. It just doesn't make any sense.
Makes sense to me. I mean, I've
That's
finished
'cause
these games.
That's because you've played these games like 5 million times over the last 20 years.
Well, yes, but...
Of course it makes sense to you. Alright, so we're getting into a fish car.
It is a maglev, actually.
A fish maglev. Alright. It's like a cable car. You know, whatever. I don't care.
Now, you see, all these used to be one island, right?
Yeah.
But
So-
they started to break apart, hence Riven.
So is this a connection to another island?
This is the connection to the big village island.
Ah.
And he's designed it so that as the
It
islands drift, because they're still drifting, these will just eventually straighten out so that you can still access each island.
Now, wouldn't it be more productive for him to just try to figure out how to fix the world?
The problem is he wrote it so badly he can't do that from this end. Atris is trying to fix the world like a madman, but he just can't.
So what we're being told is that Gen is basically Stephanie Meyer.
Nailed it. It is us
Okay.
against Stephanie Meyer.
Well, Twilight, this is not, thankfully.
It had a much better idea than Twilight. Like, this world is cool.
Riven, because why not?
It's a Riven file.